Imagine just taking a huge bite out of a super bright, fresh piece of fruit. You get that instant sweet hit, and then boom, this huge rush of fast energy. Way back in the day, that sweetness was just this incredibly rare treat hiding out in the wild. You'd really only ever find it tucked away in fresh fruits or maybe some wild honey if you were super lucky.
Plants are pretty much the ultimate sugar makers. They just chill out there, catching sunlight in their green leaves, and they mix that light up with air and water. That whole mix just turns into pure, sweet energy so they can grow big and tall.
Our bodies actually work a lot like that, needing fuel just to run around and survive. Early humans were out there hiking miles every single day, and our brains learned this totally wild trick. Basically, sweet tastes meant fast fuel had arrived. It made the brain super happy, and nature just kept everything in perfect balance. But then humans stumbled onto this giant grass growing in super hot places. They ended up calling it sugarcane. Somebody eventually figured out that if you crush that tall grass and boil the sweet juice over a fire, the extra water floats away into the sky. It leaves behind these tiny, sparkling crystals. The crazy thing was, you could keep those sweet crystals for years, and they would never go bad. People packed them onto massive ships, sailing them across giant oceans until it became this incredibly expensive spice. Royals were literally building giant castles out of sugar and using it as medicine for sick princes, totally treating it as their most prized possession. But kings always wanted more for less, and that greed led to a really dark time. Growing it and making it took massive amounts of grueling, completely unfair human work. Rulers traded human freedom for pure sweetness, forcing millions of totally innocent people to work under the brutal hot sun on giant farms for absolutely nothing. The world essentially traded human lives for sweet powder. It turned into this massive global business, with huge ships sailing everywhere, loaded up with sweet cargo. It got so cheap to buy that families everywhere started baking sweet cakes, and drinking sweet tea just became a totally normal daily habit. And then things completely shifted. Scientists found sugar hiding inside this weird-looking root called the sugar beet, which grows in super cold places. Suddenly, you didn't need warm tropical islands anymore, and giant factories just started popping up all over the world. Giant machines completely took over, replacing human hands to crush those beets and cane unbelievably fast. Mountains of cheap white sugar just poured out every single day. Suddenly, it wasn't some royal secret anymore. It was literally everywhere, and anyone could buy giant bags of it. Food makers figured out a really sneaky trick. Sugar made cheap food taste absolutely amazing. So they just started dumping sweet crystals into everything. Bread got softer, jam lasted forever, they put it in breakfast cereal, milk, and yeah, they even snuck it into salty soup. Then came the sweet drinks. Soda practically took over the earth, and people were basically chugging massive amounts of liquid sugar. Our bodies were totally confused by this. Remember that old survival trick for sweet fruit? Our brains were still screaming for every single sweet thing in sight. Except now, we aren't hiking all day for fruit. We just open a box in the kitchen and get maximum energy with zero effort. Opening that box and getting that fast energy acts exactly like a giant firework exploding bright and hot inside you, making you feel amazing and hyper. But that bright, fast energy always burns out so incredibly fast. Then you just feel super tired and cranky, which is the classic sad sugar crash. Your brain basically yells at you to get more, you grab another sweet snack, and boom, you are stuck in this crazy hard cycle. All that unused fast energy causes big problems because your body really can't use it all. It just stores the extra as heavy fat. Plus, little bacteria in your mouth absolutely love the stuff, eating it up and making painful holes in your tiny teeth. Doctors started seeing sick hearts working way too hard and way too much sugar just floating in people's blood. People totally tried to eat less of it, but the sweet dust was hiding everywhere. Labels use these tricky, fancy science words to disguise it, calling it corn syrup or fruit juice, but it was all just the same fast sugar. It was a daily struggle. Science even invented fake sugar with zero energy, but it totally tricked our confused brains anyway. Eventually, we realized nature had it right all along. An apple has sugar, sure, but it is wrapped up in this tough plant fiber. That tough fiber acts exactly like a natural brake pedal for the energy. Slower energy is steady and totally safe, meaning no sad crash, and your body actually knows exactly how to handle it.
Today, we are kind of learning to be careful again. We are checking labels on our daily food, treating sweets as rare rewards. Look, sugar isn't evil. It is just super intense energy. We just forgot how to respect its huge power, and we definitely can't forget the dark history of the farms and the people who suffered for it. Every sweet bite has a crazy long story.
It honestly feels good getting back to the old human ways. Just grabbing fresh fruit when we want a treat, drinking plain water when we're thirsty. Our bodies slowly bounce back when we chill on the sugar. You just feel stronger all day, and your tired mind stays totally clear and calm.
We are cooking more meals at home now, too. It means we get to decide exactly what goes into our hot pans, protecting our families from all those sneaky hidden sugars lingering out there on the grocery store shelves.
Even schools are catching on, tossing out those sugary pink milks for fresh green apples. Kids are actually getting their hands dirty in school gardens, learning about plants and sun energy, and finally figuring out what real healthy food actually is.
The giant factories are still running, and sweet snacks are always going to be on the shelves. But that old sweet habit, it is finally breaking. We know the secret brain trick now. We have learned how to exist around all these sweet things without overdoing it, so we can finally say no to that strong craving and be in charge of our own bodies again. Sugar literally changed the map of the world. It built massive ocean ships, huge global cities, and completely transformed human trade. It showed us how amazing nature is, but also how greedy people can get, totally testing our human control over our own desires. When you really stop and think about it, sugar is basically the ancient sun trapped inside a crystal. It is pure, wild energy that built empires and completely rewired our minds. We just have to respect its power so we can keep our freedom. Hey, if you liked wandering through this wild story with me, definitely drop a like, share this with someone who'd vibe with it, and subscribe so we can hang out again soon.